Take Two with Jerry and Debbie starts now.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Debbie Georgiani with Jerry Usher, and we totally and completely hope that you had a very blessed Memorial Day weekend with family and friends. It's just a wonderful time to get together and to appreciate life and the freedoms that we all have, because others have really laid down their lives to protect those freedoms, and it's really quite beautiful. But we love to be back with the Take Two family. We had a wonderful conversation with Bishop Joseph Coffey yesterday on Memorial Day special. Tomorrow we've got a wonderful guest, Father Sam Medley, with us talking about the sacraments. He's from the SALT community, Society of Our Lady of the Holy Trinity. And today, Jerry, we have a topic that was suggested by one of our very loyal listeners, TH. She wanted this topic to be put on the show calendar, and we said absolutely. And she wanted us to title it, "Where Are My Manners?" Meaning, where are the manners in the world? The polite, courteous, respectful behavior that we should all have for one another. If we really are going to love one another, we really should have that kind of treatment towards each other. And manners seem to have been gone away a bit in certain places in certain times. And so we're going to talk about it today, Jerry. What do you say?
Well, I say absolutely, and we can definitely, all you have to do is kind of go out on drive somewhere, go to the grocery store, even sometimes, unfortunately, in the church parking lot or even in the church. I mean, manners are something that we all usually, for the most part, hopefully we've been taught from a very young age, but I agree with you completely. In the world that we live in today, it's become, I think, a very self-centered world. Narcissistic wouldn't be too strong of a word, I don't think, and so manners, being polite, saying please, thank you, may I, things like this. So we want to hear from you, the Take Two family, your take on this. Do you find that where you live, especially in your area, maybe you live in a part of the country or a little pocket of your state or your county or whatever, where manners are still exhibited in a very, very beautiful and frequent way? Maybe you don't live in an area where that's the case. We'd love to hear from you with your take on where have the manners gone in our culture. 833-288 EWTN. That's 833-288-3986.
You don't have to be Catholic to call in if you're listening to this program. This is your platform where we all get to come together as the lay faithful and share our lived experiences, and we learn and grow together. And when we have topics suggested by one of the Take Two family members, we like to honor that. And so I want to really encourage you to call in 833-288 EWTN 833-288-3986, talking about manners today. And we do, if you're on video, Jerry, please wave to everybody. If you're on video, you see that Jerry's got a very unique background. He looks like he's at some camp.
Well, I am sort of at a camp. I'm in a dorm room on the campus of Creighton University in Omaha, Nebraska. And for those watching, hi to all of you. You can see behind me there's a couple sets of bunk beds that are not really, there's no top bunk on either side of that. So I've got all of my clothes and stuff on one of the bunk beds, and then I'm sleeping on the other one. But I'm here at Creighton for a wonderful program. Nice. It's the Institute for Priestly Formation. It's a 6-week summer program, spirituality-based. It is centered on a personal relationship with Jesus Christ through prayer, deepening that relationship, going as deeply as we can, priestly identity, chastity, celibacy. It covers a lot of different aspects and areas of the spiritual life. And I would ask everyone to please we got about 100 seminarians from around the country here for the program this summer. And please keep us all in your prayers, especially starting Friday for a week. We're actually going to have an 8-day silent retreat. I won't be on the show during that week. I won't be on my phone. I won't be on email. I won't be on text. It's going to be really weird.
Heaven.
Yeah, it's going to be heaven. Yeah,
it's
a digital detox. So keep us in your prayers during this summer program, especially during our retreat next week. And you and the Take Two family, you'll definitely be in my prayers. But yeah.
Well, we're happy you're having a peaceful time. I didn't have a peaceful morning, and I'd like to share that in a moment. But we're so glad that you're having a peaceful time. But let me just ask you this question. You know, you are recovering from back surgery. I mean, it's been a couple months now. But please tell me you're not climbing up to a top bunk. Are you?
I am not. No.
Okay. That's the last thing I need is to get a phone call to say he rolled out of the top bunk and landed on his back that just had surgery. No, that would be terrible.
Well, you'll be happy to know that I did ask some of the younger seminarians to help me with my suitcase and other stuff when I arrived here on Sunday, and they are much more capable of doing that than I am, because I could be the grandfather, seriously, to some of these guys. There's 20, 21, 22-year-olds. There's some other guys, some guys closer to my age as well, but it's a great mix of not only ages, but geographic representations and ethnicities, and it's the universal church in a beautiful way here at Creighton this summer.
Beautiful. Well, we wish you a wonderful time, and we always pray that everything goes well with you and your formation, Jerry. Okay, so we do need our listeners to weigh in. I do have to share this story just to set the stage, because I think God has such a sense of humor. I mean, he's hilarious. Okay, so as everyone knows, I live in Arizona, and it's pretty hot in the summer here, and we've had cool mornings. That's been unbelievable. And so I decided to go to our local park, which is just got created in our town where we live, to go for a walk around the lake. And very early this morning. And wouldn't you know it, there was a young man who had a leash on his belt, on the side of his belt loop there. But his two big, gigantic dogs were running loose all over the place. And it was so unsettling. There was no peace whatsoever. You didn't know what was going to happen. So, of course, I talked to the park ranger, and he said, "Oh, yeah, last week I almost got attacked by one of them." I'm like, oh, that's really good. Where are the manners with this person? Apparently, he feels that he's entitled to allow his dogs to run around the park early in the morning. I don't find that cool. Listen, I love dogs. I've had big dogs, little dogs. I love dogs. But that's another thing. Why aren't people respecting other people's desire to enjoy things? I mean, why does it always have to be about them? You talked about this narcissistic, egotistical behavior where it's like only I matter, and me and my habits and my dogs and my life matters, but the rest of you, you've got to put up with it. So what do you say to that real quickly before we go to break?
Well, I don't know. I think there should be is there a leash law?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a big sign. There's a big sign.
Oh, so he's going against that now. I understand. I would have a little bit of an issue with that as well. I think like you do. I mean, there are off-leash dog parks you can take your dogs to. So what about you, Take Two family? Where have all the manners gone? What do you think about manners today? Are they still present in society, or have they largely gone away? 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986.
On the next Beacon of Truth, liturgy and soulful Psalm 62.
I'm Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers, and I invite you to join me for Beacon of Truth.
This is a Messy Family Minute with Mike and Alicia Herning. It's easy to become a frantic family in our fast-paced world, and it can be hard to keep on being intentional about our marriage and our family life. We have seen that it's easy to forget what life is all about, isn't it? That's why we created a valuable tool called the Family Board Meeting.
The Family Board Meeting is a simple concept. Every good company has a regular board meeting to talk about strategy, goals, direction, and changes needed. Well, you and your spouse are the executive officers, the board of your family. You need to take time off, affirm each other, sketch out a vision of what you want your family to look like, and set goals to make that vision a reality.
Set aside some time to reassess and rebuild your family culture with your spouse. The beginning of the year is a great time to schedule or to have your family board meeting. What are you waiting for?
To download our free resource and listen to the podcast on this valuable tool, visit us at messyfamilyminute.org.
This is Dr. Greg Poptrack from More to Life.
This is Father Joseph Mary.
Aloha, this is Bear Wozniak.
This is Ryan Penny.
The most trusted Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
The way, the truth.
This is EWTN Radio.
talking about manners today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Have we lost our ability to be courteous and kind to one another? Well, we're gonna get to the phones in just a moment. Mary Beth's gonna be first, so Mary Beth, hang on, don't go anywhere. But there's an open phone line for you if you have something to say about this at 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. And I just got a direct message. They wanted to know how they could pick up the interview that I did with Bishop Joseph Coffey on Memorial Day. It's in the archive section at EWTN, so you can find it on YouTube as well. Jerry and Debbie, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. So please make sure you listen to that interview. I think Bishop Coffey did a wonderful job, and he's a dear friend of Take Two's. Okay, before we get to Mary Beth, Jerry, let me share Vatican Bureau from Rome to your home. With news from EWTN's Vatican Bureau, you can watch all of the important events from Rome, even if you don't have TV access. Using the latest technology, we've made it possible to watch the latest news from the Holy See, all delivered directly to your home via live streams. Watch live on EWTN's YouTube channel and follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and X.
Beautiful. Well, we're going to mind our manners and let you get on the air when you call in today, so please let us hear from you. Parents, what about you? What do you do to instill manners in your kids? And do you find that works today? Because you sometimes get counter influences from the culture that they're living in, and the world and the society and their peers and their friends. How do you make sure your kids use manners and remain courteous? How do you remain courteous and polite and charitable in difficult, maybe sometimes tense situations in the world today? And what is your experience as you go about your daily life? Just in general, manners were really a big thing when you look at some of these older movies, the westerns, and so men would tip their hats and open the doors for women and all of that. Have we lost our ability to show and express manners? Do we even know what they are anymore? You need to weigh in on this because it's your show and you are the ones who drive it at 833-288-EWTN 833-288-3986.
Okay, so let's go to Mary Beth. She's our first caller, and she's going to start the conversation. She's from Marietta, Ohio, listening on Alexa. Hi, Mary Beth. Welcome back.
Hi. Thank you so much. It's exciting to be on here. I finished my second round of chemo, and
We've
this
been
is
praying.
a week that, this is a week that I feel like I'm 17. I know that makes no sense. But I've been graced with just such a great feeling. The absence of nausea and the absence of pain is just incredible.
Praise God.
So, and then I woke up and realized I've lost 53 pounds that are good to lose. So it's just been great. But I wanted to tell you, my little town is adorable. Everyone should come visit. It's a tourist town. It has just a little over 14,000 people. Marietta, Ohio is the first settlement after the 13 colonies.
Mm-hmm.
So, George Washington spent a lot of time here, and they surveyed, which, boy, that makes a difference. A town that's laid out really nice, like a grid, is just so beautiful. But we have mound cemeteries. We have all kinds of museums, really good shopping downtown. I happen to be kind of like living in a Hallmark movie or a TV show where I visit all the merchants, and we sip coffee in the morning out front, and then after hours, maybe a glass of wine. So I'm kind of like the character that everybody says, where does she get her money? Doesn't she work? So my job is I love to volunteer. So I volunteer in a lot of different places, and then I go out of my way to promote the downtown businesses. They're brick streets here, and like I said, it's on the confluence of the Ohio and Muskingum River. So here's the part about manners. Do you know a lot of us, we're more, as likely to wave to each other and not even know each other than not? Like we're driving, you just like wave. And a funny thing happened. Did anybody see the movie Funny Farm? It's got my favorite people in it, Chevy Chase. But he's in this New England town, and they bought a home, and they just want to sell it so bad. So they pay the entire town to be different than they are. They're East Coast people, and the really grouchy people. Like the mailman purposely runs over their mailbox every day. So what I was thinking would be fun, we have the most charming trolley that travels all over and gives tours. I was thinking it'd be fun to tell the whole town, wave to everybody on the trolley. That would be hilarious.
Right, right. Well, though, Mary Beth, as you were talking, I have to just jump in because you said your town is 14,000 people. And I brought up, I don't know if you were on the phone with Ace when you were calling in. You may not have heard this story, but I the town that I live in, at one time when I moved here 40 years ago, there was about 14, 15,000, 20,000. And the same thing. It was really, everybody knew each other. You could, when you would go into the grocery store, they would say, "Hi, Debbie. Good morning." We'd know each other by first name. But now the town that I live in is growing so fast. It's one of the fastest growing towns in cities in the country. We're up to 250,000 people in my town. And now I'm running into this where people just don't know each other, and they don't, like, for instance, this gentleman this morning who seemed like a nice guy. He looked like a nice guy walking around with his dogs not on a leash. But he just didn't seem to care. He didn't seem to really care what was around them. And I wonder if as we get bigger and as people, change, careers and move to different places and move out of the small town feel and go into these bigger cities, I wonder if things do change, or, maybe we should start bringing that small town feel back into these big city places. I don't know. That's very interesting, Mary Beth. What do you say to that, Jerry? Because you've lived in many places.
Well, I was going to go in that general direction that you just went, you and Mary Beth, and that is, I'm wondering if this is maybe a geographical thing, because in the South, you still see people really express manners, but also in maybe smaller towns and smaller communities. So maybe it has that has something to do with it as well. So I think you're both really onto something here, and I'd love to hear what the rest of the Take Two family has to say about that.
Yeah, me too. Mary Beth, we are praying for you. You're in the book. I look at your name every single day. And stay strong, my friend. And you sound great. And keep us posted, okay?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
God bless you, Mary Beth. Yeah.
Yes, God bless you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Well, I'm thinking back of the town where I grew up. Of course, you had to be courteous and mind your manners, because everybody knew everybody, and a lot of people were related. There was like 500 people in the town. But what about you, Take Two family? What part of the country do you live in right now, or maybe you're from? Do you see differences in how people express manners based on geography or the size of the area, or maybe among people, believers versus non-believers? Or do you have any sense of where we are with manners in this country right now? This is your show. Make sure it's an impactful one, because everything that you share on this program, we say it hopefully every day, is going to impact other people who are listening. So share your insights, your lived experiences at 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986.
And if you can't wait on the phone to come on air with us, you can always text us. You text the letters EWTN to 58177. You wait for our response, then you text us your first name and share your comment about manners right there. And just know that message and data rates may apply. I don't want to make this show about me and what happened this morning with the guy who didn't have his dogs on a leash. But, it really disturbed me, Jerry, and I'll tell you why. When I was driving home from the park, I was thinking to myself, I understand it was 5:30 in the morning. I understand that. And maybe he thought there wasn't a lot of people at the park. And maybe he thought he had his dogs under control. And maybe he thought his dogs are the friendliest dogs in the whole world and they would never attack anybody ever, ever, ever. I get that. But do people take the time to think, like, what if, God forbid, the dog was startled by a little kid or startled by something and just got off a little bit and something bad happened? Does anyone think down the road, like, how is the other person going to react or feel? Or, I'm just wondering, am I the only one that thinks like that? Like, when I go out, I'm always thinking, what is the other person going to feel? Or what is, what could happen 10 steps down the road? I guess other people don't think that way, right? I guess. not.
Well, again, this is not to, pat myself on the back either, but the one thing I like to do, like when I'm driving on the freeway, if I see maybe I'm going a little faster than some people, so I'll get in the left-hand lane and go around a couple people, and I'll look at my rearview mirror, and there's somebody coming up behind me a little bit faster than me. I get over and let them let them go by. Maybe wait a few seconds if they get right at my tailpipe. I make them wait a few seconds. But
so you anticipate that they need to get going, and
that's the point. I mean, it's kind of what you were saying too. And again, I'm not any better at manners than anybody else, but that's just one example of how we can sort of. Just in general everyday living, driving on the roads, just be anticipatory manners or courtesy to other people sometimes. So.
Well, and here's the other thing. I mean, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I was really big on teaching my children, manners, please, thank you, asking for something in a really polite way. And it was so interesting. I remember when my oldest son was in junior high, and the teachers would say to me all the time, your son has the best manners I've ever seen. He's constantly saying thank you. And he would do it on his own. And it wasn't like I would pester him all the time, say thank you, say thank you. You know how sometimes parents will do that. I didn't do that. I just said, if you really want to, receive some respect, you got to offer some respect, right? You got to, treat people the way you want to be treated, right? And so I would try to instill that in them. And both my boys, who aren't boys anymore, they're dads and husbands, and they're all grown up. They have the most incredible manners, and I'm so proud of that. It shows that they owned it, and they want to treat people well because they want to be treated well. I just think we need to get back to that, and I think it starts with me, and it starts with you, Jerry, and it starts with every one of us. But if we start to go out there and maybe demonstrate that, maybe we could start what do you think, like a ripple effect?
Yeah, well, that's how it gets started. One little kind act or act of manners at a time. So. So we got a lot of calls we're going to get to, but there is a line open available if you would like to weigh in on this conversation. Where are the manners in today's culture and society? And what are you doing, again, maybe as parents or grandparents, to instill these in your kids? Because you can get a lot further in life by being polite and courteous than the other way around. So share your thoughts on this at 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. We will go to Lydia in Midland, Texas, listening on the Guadalupe Radio Network today. Hi, Lydia. Thanks for calling.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I just want to say that I'm from a little bitty town, and when I came to Midland, Texas, bigger town, I didn't know nobody, and I just felt so alone. But then I go to the grocery shop and buy groceries, and I smile at people and say, hi, how you doing? I hope you're having a good day. And then I say, I hope you don't mind me talking to you, but I'm from a little town, and people from little towns talk to everybody. And we have to spread the niceness, the kindness, and the cheeriness because, I see so many people not happy and they're frowning, and I'm thinking, well, if I can put a smile on their face, I'd be happy to do it because that's what we're supposed to do is smile and be happy because that's what God wants us to be, happy and spread the word and peace and love. And I just can't help it. I still have that. I'm an old lady now, and I still have that habit, and I work at the church nursery at the St. Anne's here in Midland, Texas, and I teach the little ones to share and to say good morning, Jesus, and to be nice to each other because, the little ones, they need to learn when they're little because that way when they grow up, it's easy peasy, that it's acceptable, but you always got to learn how to say thank you and excuse me or whatever, but I just, I know that they say that being happy and laughing and smiling brings endorphins to your body and you stay more healthy. So I got to stay healthy.
You're so sweet. Lydia, I would totally talk to you. You're fun.
Well, I tell you what, I can't wait to see you July 19th. So maybe you can see me face to face and you're going to say, oh, my gosh, you're her.
Well, make sure you come up to see us, please. I'm sorry, Jerry.
I will.
No.
But,
go ahead, Lydia.
I just want to say to both of you, I love both of you guys because you both are such inspiration to us because we have our issues out here, we have our problems, we have our heartaches. But when you guys come on the air and you speak of what God wants you to speak of, oh my God, you guys are such. The love is there, and when you put people in your prayer book, Because I've been telling people, don't forget the prayer books. And I know you get my emails a lot because every time somebody gets sick, I hurry up and email you a prayer book request intentions because they need help. But I just want to let you know, you guys, I know you guys got a lot on your plate, and you still put us in the radio. I mean, you guys are still on the show, and you guys are doing so good. And I just want to say, well, I'm proud of you, and I thank you for all that you guys do, because I know the message of what you're doing on the radio airwaves throughout the whole nation. I kid you not. I mean, people really get inspired. People are saying, you know, I thought I had a problem, but golly, people have worse problems than me. But when you have faith in God, oh my God, it's just wonderful, and you just don't give up because, like I said, Debbie, I mean, old devil likes to make us trouble, and we got to say, get away from me, devil, and keep saying your prayers so the devil goes away. But Terry, I'm so proud of you, and God bless you, and we pray for you to stay strong and healthy, and I just want to say, love you, Debbie, and keep praying for your eyes to get better and your health, because we sure want to see you in July.
Thank you, Lydia.
Thank you. Oh, my goodness.
Your beauty and joy just come through over the airwaves here, Lydia, and you and the rest of the Take Two family. You know, we turn what you said to us right back around to you, and we're a family. You know, that's what this show is about and has been. We're coming up in June 15th. It'll be 10 years with you, Lydia, and the rest of the Take Two family. So thank you. Bless your sweetheart today. Have a beautiful and blessed day, and I hope to be there too for that Guadalupe Radio Network celebration in July. 833-288-3986. Where have our manners gone? What do you think about today's topic?
Tomorrow morning on the Sunrise Morning Show.
We'll catch up with canon lawyer Father Philip Michael Tangora from the Diocese of Patterson, look at how Scripture addresses worry and anxiety with Gary Zimak from Following the Truth, and talk to legal and political analyst Ken Craycraft. Plus all the latest news, weather, sports, and everything you need to start your day a better way.
The Sunrise Morning Show, tomorrow at 6 a.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
He begins to knit in this womb a child. Once God has decided, you shall be. You are children of God. See, deep within a conscience, yours and mine, everybody, man discovers a law which he doesn't lay upon himself. You and I, in our conscience, planted by God himself, this is wrong and this is right. Even if you don't know this awesome catechism, it seems like the more he gives, the more we rebel. Did you notice that when there's someone to save, be it ever so young, they call it a baby. They call it even a boy and a girl. When they want to get rid of it, they call it or a fetus. Isn't that strange how they manipulate language?
This is Father Thomas Loya from Light of the East.
Hi, everybody. Dr. Ray Gurendi.
This is Janet Williams.
This is Father John Trigilio. The most trusted Catholic voices are on EWTN Radio.
I'm Deacon Harold Burke-Sivers. Join me for Beacon of Truth today at 4 p.m. Eastern
on the next Beacon of Truth, Liturgy and Soulful Psalm 62.
Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
All right, having a great conversation about manners, minding our manners, learning our manners, maintaining our manners. Where have they gone, or have they gone away? Are they still used prevalently where you live in society, in your regional, like your region of the country, maybe the size of your town? How about, do you teach your kids? Do you still instill manners in them? And as Debbie is with her sons, are you proud of your kids for using those manners? We're talking about this today here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie and you. And so we are looking forward to your call. We have several more that we're going to get to. Let me just give that number, Deb, and I'll throw it to you.
Okay.
833-288-EWTN. 833-288-3986.
So I was having a lousy morning when I went walking bright and early with those that gentleman with his dogs that weren't on a leash. But then when Lydia called in and she said such nice comments, I feel better. See how easy my whole day is going to turn around now. Thank you, Lydia. You're awesome. I was having a lousy day. Now I'm having a great day. Okay, I can easily be influenced, Jerry. That's all it takes.
That's good though.
Yeah.
If you get pulled out of a funk like that easily, that's beautiful.
Is that good? Okay, good.
That's a good thing, yeah.
I just want to make sure. Okay, Jerry, we do have some open phone lines. So if you have something to say about manners, would you please call in? Maybe you don't have any manners, okay? If you don't want to out yourself, just give your confirmation name. Maybe you're just lousy at it. You don't say please. You don't say thank you. You don't hold the door for anybody. You don't even look behind to see if somebody's coming out of a restaurant behind you. You just like walk out of the restaurant and, the door probably could, slam them in the face. You wouldn't even notice, right? If that's you, call in. I've seen people like that. They open the door. They don't see somebody behind them. The door closes and there goes the to-go containers all over the place. People really do need to look around them and see what's going on around them. It's not just about them and the universe, right? So if you have something to say about this, call in. Now is the time, and this is the show. 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. And Jerry and I were heading back to Texas, San Antonio, Texas, on Guadalupe Radio Network. That's where Joan is, and Joan is ready to talk about manners. Hi, Joan.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning, Joan. Thanks for calling.
Good morning. Do you hear me?
Very well, yes. Can you hear us okay?
Okay. Yeah. Manners. Wow, what a subject you chose today. And good morning and good day to both of you.
Thank you.
I watch these programs every day, but this is one of my key topics, that manners. I'm not culturally from here, but I've been here more years than I have been from where I come from. Where I come from is also manners have gone down there too. But as from where I come from, the manners were really good in this country at one point, and they're just on down the tube now. It doesn't matter where you go, even little children. I volunteer at my granddaughter's school for lunch, and children, no, please, may I have a napkin? No, I need a napkin. But I give them one. They have no thank you. And I have to constantly, and their teacher have to constantly tell them, please and thank you. To me, manners are started in the house, with your children in the house. Just like I train my children when they were younger, they all have manners. And, and my granddaughter, I train her every day about please and thank you. And that's where it starts. But these days, there are no manners. People think the road is theirs. Everything that's yours is theirs. I mean, there is absolutely inconsideration they have no respect for elderly people who are older than them. Absolutely, there is no manners. I mean, to me, even people in church, we go to church. I'm not criticizing anybody, but, I used to be, when I was working, I remember a young lady, she's not young, a person said, oh my gosh, Joan, I can't believe every time you come around, you always use the words, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. And I said, well, that's how I was raised. I rarely see people doing that anymore. And I said, you're absolutely right. They don't do it anymore because they are very inconsiderate and they're just absolutely not taught to do it. And secondly, and even if they know what it is, they don't care about it. Mm-hmm. So I told them, I said, this has kept with me all my life, all of these things. And even in the grocery store, if somebody has a few children, I ask them, do you need any help? If an elderly person, I always ask them, do you need any help to go to this inside? It's always, it's kind of a part of my blood to do this. And we can very well make that happen in society again, but people just don't care. And that is why our society these days, not only in the United States, but all over the world, has gone down the drain because nobody cares for life, of course not. There is no life. Everybody wants to just kill somebody. There is absolutely no respect, no kindness to anybody's viewpoint. or anything. And that's not what USA was at all. It is horrible, but we can all bring it back where it is that when each one of us practice, our God-given rights and also the rights of others at the same time. And I see that not happening.
Joan, let me you've used a word twice that I want to zero in on here just for a second. You've used the word respect twice. And let's face it, what we're talking about here is just basic, simple respect for the dignity of other human beings. Mm-hmm. And this is what it really boils down to. We talk about on this show, we always say at the start of the show, wait and see how this relates to our faith, the topic that we're dealing with on a particular episode of Take Two. And this one really touches upon our faith because it gets at the inherent worth and dignity of other people. They are worthy of our being polite to them, of our being courteous to them, and we are worthy of that, in return from them as well. And I think maybe, Debbie, that we've kind of gotten away from God to the point where we've gotten away from manners. Maybe there's connection between the two here.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think you nailed it, Jerry, and I'm glad you did zero in on it. But, Joan, you were being very kind. I have to tell you, you're being kind about Catholics that go to Mass. I worked in the parish setting for 25 years. You wouldn't believe some of the rude, inconsiderate, mean things I've seen with people coming out of Mass. I mean, it's like, what happened to them? Or how about when you happen to go to visit a new church, a new Catholic church, and you happen to sit in somebody's pew, and because they think they own the pew. I mean, and they give you a look like it's terrible. I just 2 weeks ago, my husband and I went to a Catholic church in our area, and we sat in the back of the church, and my husband goes, "These people are looking at us, giving us dirty looks," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness, I think we're sitting in their pew." I mean, it's so, I don't understand it. So, Joan, you were being very kind. I think it's just rude. And how are we supposed to go out there and be Christ to others if we can't even act, like mini Christs to each other, right?
Absolutely right. And the same thing I told the woman at my church office, who is the secretary there for all people. She's a nice person, I've kind of, in my kind words, I've brought her around, but she is also having issues. And I told her, I understand that you don't answer the phone because the calls are coming one after the other and people are in front of you. But, the way to spread Christianity is to also be kind to everybody. You can be as busy as you can be, absolutely zero time, but you can still, in all of that, you can be kind. Be kind. And don't have to be, yes, the kindness and respect for humans. And, it seems like, of course, I have 2 puppies in the house, but people give more respect and kindness to animals than humans.
Yeah, it's very true.
And it's, of course, I love my animals. I couldn't be without them. I understand that. But why don't you do at least the same thing to humans? Mm-hmm. That's what I pray for. That Jesus was on this earth. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You're wonderful, Joan. You've got a lot of passion and you've got a lot of love inside of you, and you want to spread that kindness, and we do as well. That's why we're doing shows like this. That's why we love doing episodes like this, because I think it helps all of us and it reminds all of us how to be and how to act. And when people aren't looking and people aren't, it's so interesting. We'll go out of our way to be really polite when Father, our pastor, is standing in front of us, right? We'll go out of our way, some of us, most of us. But then when you're in the parking lot of the church, we'll cut each other off, getting out of the parking lot, because we got to get out of the parking lot 2 seconds before the next person. I don't understand it. Thanks, Joan.
Joan, thank you for the call. Excellent contribution to our discussion today. And the next one is going to come from Carol in Virginia, listening today on the EWTN app. Hello, Carol. Thanks for calling the program.
Hey, Carol.
Oh, hello. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
And I also want to thank you, Jerry and Debbie. You gave me wonderful advice a little while ago. I think maybe about a month ago I had called. I haven't made it to the church yet because of the situation of my health, but I'm I'm close to being there, and I'm so happy.
Good.
I can hardly wait. Just takes another couple of doctor visits, and I think I'll be there. And I wanted to address the fact that, Debbie, what you went through, I understand it very well. And what I go through is similar. But, I think people don't really understand. They have no clue about why anybody would be upset with that kind of behavior, with letting the dogs loose and all this other stuff. For me, I'm having health issues, obviously, and it's my walking ability and that kind of thing. So what I have found with myself, a lot of people, I would say most people, when they see me coming, I've got my cane and I'm bent over and I'm hobbling along, they open the doors for me. And people that I would think wouldn't be doing those things, and even the young people. So I've had a really good experience with that. But there are times it's not so great. What I mean is I have a problem with my legs. They decide when they're going to move and when they're not. And it doesn't behoove me all the time. So, like when I park in the handicapped spot and I go into the crosswalk, I may not make it to the other side. I may just stand there like a fool. And the one time was so horrible because no one understood. And it's raining, and I can't even get in out of the rain because my legs aren't moving. I'm standing like a statue, like a fool in the middle of a crosswalk, and everyone's honking at me. I was called every name under the sun or below. I mean, names I never heard being said before. And I'm like, what do? I can't go anywhere. Do you really think I'd stand in the rain getting soaking wet and not move when I see an 18-wheeler heading my way? I'd run, but I can't. Nothing moves. So what do you do? So I'm standing there. Oh, I mean, I have PTSD from it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out, I don't know what to do about the situation. I'm trying to get some ideas from doctors of what I can do. And the other thing about the dogs and stuff, I have lymphedema. So if a dog jumped on me just out of happiness because I'm an animal person, they love me and I love them. So if they jump on me, they could scratch my skin and I bleed to death.
Oh.
So
you do.
People
So you
don't understand.
Right. Carol, I was just going to say that. You nailed it. People don't really stop and think. Like, why would you stand in the middle of the street in the pouring rain and freeze like that? And they're not thinking. They think. They get upset first rather than they go to a place of wanting to help or wanting to. It's really odd to me, and I've seen it. It's almost like a slight agitation in people. People will react more than they will respond in a kind way. And I think that reaction is so, you can feel it. It's not of God when people do stuff like that. And you're like, what is the matter? Why can't people just take a step back and look at the situation, survey it, and say, this lady is probably having a problem right here. Is there anything we could do to help? Roll down your window. Ma'am, can we help you? Okay, instead of beeping the horn and making your blood pressure going sky high. Carol, I know, it's a tough situation you're in, but the beauty of it is that through it all, I do believe the way you're handling it, God is going to continue to bless you abundantly with graces, and we're praying for those blessings. And I just feel, Carol, that you just have such a good heart. I think things are going to work out in your favor. I just do. And we pray for that. And just know you have a big family here that's joining us in those prayers, okay?
And I thank you all. I thank everyone. But, just to have it be said over the air for people to hear that, it could be more than somebody trying to ruin your day by stopping you from passing or something. You can go around me.
Right.
Well, yeah, and as Debbie said, our prayers go with you, Carol, along with our exhortation to be safe. Be safe out there, and we will definitely keep the prayers going for you, especially with the health issues and so forth. So, thank you, Carol, for calling on the program. We appreciate that. We're going to get to Connie in just a quick moment here. I have to first tell you something very, very brief here, and then we will get right back to her. Podcast Central is a feature of EWTN.com. And one of those great podcasts is, you may know his name, he's from Catholic Answers, the Jimmy Akin Podcast. Now, if you've ever wondered about the mysterious and obscure aspects of our Catholic faith, this is the podcast for you. Jimmy pushes the boundaries of apologetics, blending his insights from various fields. He knows a lot about many, many things. And you can hear the Jimmy Akin Podcast and other faith-filled podcasts at EWTN Podcast Central. Just go to EWTN.com/radio and then click on Podcast Central, and you are connected to a huge library of great podcasts.
Beautiful. Okay, Connie is up next from South Dakota on Real Presence Radio. Connie, take it away.
Okay. Hello?
Yes,
Hello
go
there.
right ahead.
Yes, my name is Connie, and thank you, Carol, for sharing that, because that's exactly as she said, by speaking it out loud on the radio. Now we have a new situation awareness to look for.
Yeah.
In
Definitely.
people. But I was going to say, I too went with the dog thing. We approached our little walking path, and I could see a out-of-town license plate from Oregon, and I thought right away, the land of entitlement. This is sort of judgmental on my part, but just going from all the city uprisings a while back.
Yeah, right.
But anyway, so I thought, watch out, just gave me heads up. So we went on the path, and here come two dogs just bounding at us. Big dogs. Beautiful dogs, by the way. And but they just were barking, and they did stop. They didn't jump on us, but the owners would not call them off. They would. It's like they didn't know how to or something. So I questioned whether they were their owners, even though I sort of commanded them to get get up there and man their dogs, And then they got angry at me because I sort of spoke with authority, and and so they got angry at me, and I said, "We have a leash law." That's all I could say. I didn't want to argue with them. I just wanted to tell them the facts.
Sure.
We have a leash law. You are, that's all I could say. And then finally, they manned their dogs and took them away. I was with my special needs son, and he had ran back to the car. He took care of himself there, but that is quite a situation that you do have to be aware when we come out of the car and look around and see what we're going to possibly be coming up against.
Well,
Little
and
did I know it would be that.
Yeah, and it startles you. It really does. You go into shock a bit. But Jerry brought something up. He just texted over to me. Jerry, share this because it's so true, and I'm guilty of that. Okay, when my Gracie was on this earth for 14 years with me, I treated her like she was a little human being, and I know you did that with Duke, right?
Yeah,
and so share what you're going to express, because I think it's important we understand that. We have to put things into perspective.
Well, I just simply typed over to Debbie. I said, sometimes we can think of our dogs like our kids, and when people try to, tell us, you shouldn't let your dog be off the leash or, pick up after your dog if it does his business or whatever, it's kind of like people get the feeling like, don't tell me how to raise my kids, but so, and I'm, like you said, Debbie, I'm definitely guilty of that. I have humanized my dog when I had him so much. But I still try to get him to mind his manners. And if I take him to an off-leash dog park,
he was a good boy, though.
Well, he's still a good boy.
Yeah.
But I would, if he got a little too frisky or unruly with other dogs, even in an off-leash dog park, it was time to go. That's it, Duke. You've had your fun, and. So, I even tried to get him to mind his manners, if I can put it that way.
Mm-hmm. But going back to Connie's call, I mean, if Connie had to run back to the car, or if something, and what if she got hurt by that? You know what I mean? What if she stumbled and hurt herself? I mean, who's responsible for that? These people did not have their dogs under control, and so I don't understand that. That to me is that's a preventable situation, right? That is something that can be prevented very easily if people would just adhere to the rules, adhere to the laws, and just be courteous and kind that others are on that walking path. So, Connie, we hear you. Thank you so much for weighing in on this topic. It sounds like I got everybody's blood pressure sky high.
See what you did?
I know.
You're all taken care of now. You're all out of that, but now
everybody else is agitated.
Let's see what Al has to say. Our friend in Panama City, Florida, listening today on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Al.
Good morning or afternoon, depending on where you are.
Yeah, good to have you with
I was
us.
just weighing in from the deep south here about, we still say sir and ma'am. But I was going to say I was just at Walmart, and I was standing back looking for a particular item, and a lady pushed her cart right in front of me and just blocks me. And my initial reaction was, how dare you, but I it's that nanosecond. And I always try to regroup. And I always say, our society has become very self-absorbed, narcissistic, and they don't respect others, but I'm not going to change who I am because of somebody else. And maybe I can set an example and be that little mustard seed in their life to say, hey, that guy's going out of his way to be courteous, to be kind. And so I try to live by that motto. And I will say every time something like that happens to me and I handle it properly, the Lord shows me someone going out of their way to be courteous, to kind of say, hey, you're not in this alone. Mm-hmm. So we all have bad days where we do something we regret, and I don't know what's going on in a person's life to cause them to do that. But my advice would be, don't let it change who you are, and try to let people see Christ in you. Mm-hmm. And there was a quote by Mother Teresa. She said, you only love God as much as the person you love the least. So I try to remember that.
Well, yeah,
Wow.
and you
That was powerful.
Just like with the dog thing, you kind of got me worked up a little bit about the shopping cart thing, because, a pet peeve of mine is someone, they leave their shopping cart in the middle of an aisle and then walk like 100 feet away looking for something. I'm like, why didn't you take your cart with you? Because you're blocking everybody else. But anyway, yeah, Al, you make some great points in that. Thank you for that quote from Mother Teresa as well.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of brings us back full circle to the whole thing about, God and what role does God play in our life. And if God plays a role in our life, then, other people, we're going to see the inherent worth and dignity in other people and treat them accordingly. So, yeah, I think that was
Yeah, I think that was such a powerful way to end this episode. Al, you are awesome. Thank you so much. Pidge in Buffalo, New York. Here's the good news. We have Unscripted coming up in just a couple days, and we would love for you to call back and tell us you were going to talk about manners with your 4 sons. We want to hear all about it. So call us on Unscripted and just let our call screener know, and you'll be pushed to the front of the line, Pidge. And tomorrow, Jerry, we've got guest Father Sam Medley of the Salt Community. He's going to help us to understand the sacraments better, and we're opening up the phone lines.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to the show team today. We had Michael McCall, our producer. Ace McKay was on the phones today, and Rich Jesse was on social media. Thank you, Take Two family, as always. And let us pray today to St. Augustine of Canterbury, whose feast day it is today. Thank you all, Take Two family, for making this another great, impactful broadcast. We will talk to you again tomorrow. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed day.